Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
First, we need the mic on.
Turn the mic on.
Mic check.
Or come up here. You can use this one if you want to.
Keep talking to test it.
God, kids
Here.
don't know how to use microphones.
He said, "Here, take my mic." What a guy.
So, my name is Sammy. I'm a student at Rice, and I just wanted to thank you both so much for taking the time to speak with us. It means so much to have both of you stand so firmly in support of democratic values when it seems like kind of the world is crumbling around us. You both are figures of support, and it means more than you'll ever know.
Yeah, that must suck living in Texas and then all this shit starts happening. It's like, oh God.
Yeah.
So this topic is personal to me. My dad was a federal worker. He worked for the Small Business Administration, and he was one of the many who was laid off by Elon Musk.
Boo. Ooh, we need some boo
And
birds
before
on
he
here.
was laid off, he received federally sent threatening messages denouncing the use of DEI language and compelling workers to report each other if they found anyone trying to encourage DEI practices. And it hurts my heart, and it hurts everyone around us.
Please
because
put your
we
glasses
all
up, young
know
lady.
that diversity is what makes America great.
We're looking like Chuck Schumer over here.
So, I know you told me not to ramble, but my question is, how do we speak about and plan for the inclusivity and diversity of opinion that we need to rebuild this country when those terms are being so demonized by the people holding power right now?
Good question.
Well, Sammy, thank you. And to all the young people who are here, I just pause for a moment and look around and look at, I'm especially talking about these old white guys who seem to disappoint us on a regular basis in this country, but not this group that's here standing with you. Folks that know, as Beto said, those Vietnam veterans, the motto of the damn Vietnam Veterans of America is never again will one generation forget another. And so for all of us to stand up and talk about these issues and to talk to the American public in a way where we let them define the issues. And I watched this happen on the campaign. I thought for sure when Donald Trump was bragging about folks in Springfield eating cats and dogs, that would be the end. It was not. It was not, because we let them define the message. So let's be very clear, segueing from that last question. One of the groups that has benefited greatly by us understanding that diversity, equity, and inclusion and having
Just
policies
keep the camera
around that,
still.
were veterans themselves for hiring. Veterans are a part of.
It's like they got sweep kicked by Liu Kang, and now they're like, now they got to shoot the rest of the thing down there. God damn.
Just get a steady cam, Christ.
The group when the federal government hires
couldn't
people
get that man a
based
gimbal?
on that. The rest of it is we all know, in Minnesota, pretty white, pretty cold, much like you see in the northern hemisphere in northern states,
We do have Mark on Unboxed Politics. We can confirm.
He is pretty white.
population going down. 70% of our workforce over the next 20 years is going to come from communities of color. Our very existence depends on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I'm just going to note this shit show of a text chain that was going on could have used a little diversity, equity, and inclusion in the people who were there.
Yo, he not lying, because a black person went, yo, we can't do this. I'm going to get fired. Nah, dog. Stop. Nah, dog. We can't do that. Stop. Don't.
Yo, did anyone check who's in the chat?
Yo, who is this? Who the fuck? Yeah, yo, JG. Who the fuck is JG? JG. Who is you? Who is you? Who you coming in here with? Who is you? Daily Blase. The Mensch. K in the chat says the anti-DEIA stuff is so goddamn dumb. As policy, it doesn't even do a fraction of what they think it does or what affirmative action did. But to them, it's all just vibes. It's owning the libs. Gotta pwn the noobs. Yeah, we're showing them.
They're so showing them.
I'm shown.
I've been shown.
So I think, and I'm going to own this, when we see people back off and we see corporations back off to the threats, instead of leaning into and knowing.
I feel like Tim Walz could have been a coach on Boy Meets World. I feel like he could have, like Mr. Feeney was the principal, then there was Coach Walz down in the gym.
Yeah.
I feel like he had some life lessons, you know.
We're doing this because it's not only morally the right thing to do, it's economically the right thing to do, and our culture proves that our strength is our diversity. We've been talking about this for years as a country of immigrants, and we let them define the issue on immigration. We let them define the issue on DEI,
right.
And we let them define what woke is. We got ourselves in this mess because we weren't bold enough to stand up and say, you damn right we're proud of these policies. We're going to put them in, and we're going to execute them. And so they're going to use fear. They're going to do whatever they can. What I would say is we need to make sure we're highly organized. Let's provide the data. Let's show them where things are at. They're finding out now. Florida kicked everybody out, and now what do they have to do? Weaken their child labor laws so we can put kids to work? That's not who we are. So what I would say to you is, this is about demonizing, and in this moment, and we may pivot to it, I know Texas, it's a hot issue. Immigration's a hot issue on our border too, Canada. We like them. But
Yay,
But-
Canada.
if we're afraid to talk about these harder issues,
keeping our elbows up, bud.
If anyone's finding it hard to find their voice and say what happened to this young woman at Tufts University is absolutely horrific, then we deserve to lose elections. Because if we're not willing to stand up and say, of course we need reforms, of course we need to put things in there, but you can do these things without sacrificing our humanity, without sacrificing understanding where we come from. DEI is the same way.
Yeah, Tim Walz fighting the good fight.
No, man, I need my cheaper eggs.
Eggs aren't even cheaper. It's been months.
We did spend $7 for eggs.
Right. Last time I went to the store, it was still $8, and there were barely any eggs there.
It's
So
like
I don't know.
it's like we
I
had
don't know.
it's like we had a group project, right? And then everybody did like their individual parts, and then one person was supposed to present it, and they were just eating our diorama up there in front of the class. Like they're just taking pieces of it and putting it in their mouth. And that's
Eggs
some of
ain't
the
cheaper. Eggs ain't cheaper. Gas ain't cheaper. Groceries aren't. Inflation went up in February.
No, it didn't. You're lying.
No, it went up.
No, you're lying to me.
Cornflation went up. So I don't
never
know
happened.
what they're talking about. They're like, oh, there's going to be a little bit of pain and transition period. Yeah, it's called a recession.
Yes.
That's going to be your transition period, a recession.
So what do you make of Walz's like kind of clear-eyed honesty about like how the campaign went and like letting the Republicans frame things? Do you feel like that's kind of the message that all Democrats, if they want to have a chance of getting any voters going forward, do you think that that's kind of the attitude that they need to have moving forward?
I think at this point, there's two kinds of Democrats. One is the Tim Walz, Bernie
Only
Sanders.
good Democrat is a dead. Sorry.
At this point, I probably would include Cory Booker in this. The Democrats who are willing to say, hey, last election didn't go well. We know why, and we're going to fix it. And then there's the Democrats who are just sticking their head in the sand and saying, no, it's not our fault. It's everyone else. Everyone else is the problem.
We will win. We will.
Yeah. It's the Chuck Schumers and the centrist Democrats who are like, nah, we can work with Trump. He's completely reasonable, and he'll do this. But Tim Walz is saying what Democrats should have said the day after the election is we fucked up, and we let them have control of the issues because that's always what Democrats do. they give Republicans leverage on issues like that because they don't have a lot of Democrats don't have the stomach for it. They don't, and if you remember, the days after the election, Democrats lost their goddamn minds about they defended trans people too much or they defended DEI too much. And they're like, these are the reasons we lost. So we didn't go to the right enough.
We were too woke. I knew we should have said all lives matter.
I remember the day after the election, Joe fucking Scarborough, who's not a Democrat anyway, but he was like, the time for liberals is over. Like the progressive era is over. I was like, that's not the message that the Democrats need.
Yeah.
It's the message they should need is that we should strengthen progressive ideals. And that is the way to fight all the Trump stuff.
And them mothballing him and then bringing out Dick Cheney's wife instead is crazy.
Yeah.
Is crazy. Or daughter, sorry.
Check out some of our other content. We would love to see what you think about the one on the screen right now.